Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Bracket Madness contest. We are giving away $5,000 in prizes, free to enter. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket to enter. Plus, we have $25,000 Survivor contest at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor over at Splash. If you are new to Splash, use code SGPN50 and get up to $50 in bonus pick'em entries. And finally, we're brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi is a real money prediction market legal in all 50 states. They have a ton of trading options for your favorite sports, and Kalshi is giving away $1 million for the perfect bracket. No purchase necessary. To just enter to win. Official rules do apply. Kalshi.com/$1 billion bracket for more information. So head over to Kalshi. New customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right, Dom, we are live. Final leg of the Florida Swing. You are wearing a live hat because why not?
Yep.
And yeah, ready to talk some golf. So talk to me about Innisbrook. What do you think in terms of the course? Whatever you want to start it with.
Well, let's talk about the players for a second. I watched most of Sunday because I have Ludwig in my season long. Went into Sunday, I was like, a guy like Ludwig's probably not blowing this lead. And by the 10th hole, was pretty much out of reach for him. When it comes to betting, I pushed the 175 Justin Thomas on here last week. Look where we're at now. That was a huge mistake. I get he was dead last the week prior, but more of a warm-up type thing. Is he fully back? I wouldn't say fully back, but he's definitely looking a lot better. I had decent cash-out options, but at 175 to 1, it wasn't enough to move the needle for me. But I thought it was Fitz's to lose, and then Cam Young just did what Cam Young does. Another guy who I'm very heavy on in the underdog best balls, so life is good.
Yeah, I mean, what a call with JT 175 to 1. We were talking about that, and like what we said, like he could be there going into the weekend, gave you a sweat and got some cash out options. I think that's definitely a win in my opinion. Was a great call there. Ludwig, I probably thought he was going to win, but he's done this many times before. I mean, like at the Scottish Open, he blew it. There's been other times like Augusta, he's kind of been faulty coming in. Nonetheless, like he gets so fast. He's a fast player, but he gets even faster when the pressure ramps up on Sunday. And that's just strokes gained caddy. You have to have someone to tell you, hey, Lud, take a step. Are we sure? Are we sure here? Like he had a 2-shot lead going into 11. He said in the interviews he's missed his 7-wood right multiple times this week. You didn't have to hit that green in 2. You didn't have to hit that green. I mean, lay up if you want to, or just go way left. He was trying to hit a big sweeping draw like at that. What are we doing here? That is massive strokes gained caddy. That is that's cost him before, and you've heard me talk about the Ludwig and Skavron mess that I think it is. And, So and it's just it shows once again.
It does. But yeah, getting to the course, Innisbrook. So par 71, obviously another one of the more difficult courses, stops on the PGA Tour. Last 3 winners have been no better than 12 under, so it's definitely going to play tough. I think it gets a little lower than that this week. But Victor Hovland, defending champ at 11 under. One thing I baked in that I usually don't, this is kind of a one-off, but 5 par 3s on the card, and they're all right around 200 plus. So like 195 to 240-ish. So looking at the 200 plus yard proximity or approach bucket, and then par 3 scoring in general, something that I've kind of weighed in on top of your typical stats for the week. Or is there anything specific that you're leaning?
Yeah, I'm leaning a lot more distance than I thought I would have leaned going into the week. Being out there, it's the most playable Innisbrook rough I've ever seen. I've been out there the last 3 years, so definitely saw a little bit in terms of distance this year. So that's the one nugget I'll add from being out there the last few days. And yeah, so that's the only real. I mean, it's a golf course we see every year, nothing real game changing. But I'm hearing a lot of noise talks about like a firm, fast golf course. Not that. I was there and it rained a very big amount, like cataclysmic type rain. So I'm not
Okay.
going to go too far into detail. Go over to my Twitter if you want the real in-depth course report, because it might be unique from what you're seeing elsewhere. I'm the only one that's actually out there to give you that report. So yeah, but that's what I'm leaning. Odds board wise, we have a few names at the top. Xander makes his way back to the top. Matt Fitz, Victor Hovland round out that big three. Then I guess we'll include JT and Jacob Bridgman, the most recent winner on tour, in there. So who do you like in this top five? Is there any names? I feel like there's some interesting names up here before the field really starts to drop off. Who you liking up here?
I want to go back to Victor. The numbers chopped in half from what I bet last week, so that obviously makes it difficult. Not that I didn't like what I saw out of Hovland. I still think he has the most attractive number up this way, especially with the Akshay WD. Also, isn't that funny? Another guy who I but 150 to 1 on the each way, month and a half ago, and now he was up in the 20s. I think he closed at like 2022. So back to me and you's point all the time. Chase good numbers regardless of form when you get into the triple digits, because sometimes they don't stick around that long. But yeah, Victor Hovland for me. JT's a good price. It's just I don't think he gets there. I was hoping to get at least to be greedy, maybe a 40, but yeah, I don't think I can get there at 22. So probably Victor if I had to pick one up here.
Yeah, Victor, I was on him last week, and was it a fine pick? I guess he was somewhat in contention. He was within two, within 2 or 3 on hole 2 after he made that eagle. But it was kind of a luck back stat line. He had his best around the green week of his entire career last week. He didn't hit the ball bad, but he didn't hit the ball in any Victor Hovland stratosphere. Gained like 2 on approach and like lost strokes off the tee. And the off the tee's kind of been haunting him a little bit this year. He has only gained once this year off the tee and not more than like 2 strokes, which we've seen him gain 10 strokes ball striking before. The ball striking is definitely not there, and I'm not going to try to chase it at 20 to 1, even though he's the defending champion. With that being said, this is definitely a Victor Hovland golf course, and he is a confident guy around these parts. So I don't hate it. And the field drops off so much. Like from these top 10 names, it's like super top heavy. So I'm kind of looking at this range as okay, these guys are whatever number they are, but I'm looking at it as this guy, Xander Schauffele is 10 to 1 to beat 10 golfers. I thought the same thing with like Rory McIlroy 2 years back at the RBC Canadian Open with like it was him, Tyrrell Hatton, and like Corey Connors. And I was like, all right, Rory's 10 to 1 to beat like 5 golfers. Like, okay, he could probably do that. And like the drop off is massive. So that's kind of how I'm viewing this range. I don't mind Victor Hovland, but my eggs are in the Xander basket. I like what I saw from him last week.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, going down a little bit. Cantlay, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, Ben Griffin, JJ, Corey, Sahith, Chalk, Rio, Nikolai, and Nick Taylor are everyone sub 40 to 1. 2 guys in there that catch your eye?
So last night I was doing a little bit of digging, and obviously I go to the book with the top 6 each way to kind of see where odds fall. JJ Spawn and Corey Connors were 2 that stood out on that book. So I dove into JJ Spawn a little bit deeper than I probably ever have. Not a big JJ Spawn guy. I remember his rookie year. He was a little bit older for a PGA Tour rookie. Wasn't anything impressive, but he did keep his PGA Tour card for years and years, and just kind of coasted every single year up until 2025. So the peak price that we were getting from JJ Spawn over the last 10 months or so wasn't really for me. I still think this is a little bit high, but I did like what I saw at the Players. Gained almost 5 strokes on approach. Finished in the top 25. I think 33 to 1 is a fair number with the each way. Haven't gotten there yet, but that's the first name that I kind of looked at.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm going to go with a guy that I never touch ever. Like, I'm not a Brooks guy, but Brooks is kind of catching my eye here at a golf course that rewards stern ball striking, rewards distance. Brooks has gained in terms of distance to the field in every one of his PGA Tour starts. Obviously, the putter is a bit of a mess, but I think just keeping the ball in play with the ball striking he presents is going to have him through the cut line, and we know what the upside is going to be. Is it a win? How hard does he push? I think if he's there, he's going to push hard, but Brooks around 25, 30 to 1 in this field. Like I said, to beat 10 golfers, I think his worst plays on the board. So Brooks would be my guy in this range.
That is also who I like. The approach numbers pop off the page. I mean, the last two events that he's had, pretty crazy. T13 at the Players, T9 at the Cog, gaining almost 7 strokes on approach last week and 3 the week prior. Off the tees in the green. Last time he played Valspar, 2022, he finished T12, gained across the board there. So I like Brooks a lot. And like you said, it does fall off very quick. Obviously, you have Pat right there. Would like to see a little bit more. And then after Brooks, it just really does fall off a cliff. I mean, you're looking at like Austin Smotherman's up here. So
Yeah. I also my second guy here will be Sahith.
all right.
He lost 2 strokes, I think, around 2 strokes off the tee around Sawgrass, but I'm not worried about that here. Like I want you to bomb it out there and be aggressive. There's far less water here than there is at Sawgrass, and it's far less claustrophobic. Sahith can just he's doing everything else well, and the off the tee was just bad at Sawgrass, which is not that crazy. It's so tough to drive it there. So I think he gets back in order. He's playing as good as he's ever played. Like the last, well, not as he's ever played, but the last like year and a half, 2 years. So I think Sahith finds some form. So he'll be my second guy. All right, next range, Taylor Pendrith down to, I guess we'll go like Patrick Rogers, 50 to 70. Some interesting names in there. The Hoygaards, Wyndham Clark. I know you're going to touch on Wyndham Clark, and so yeah, start us with Wyndham then.
I will start with Wyndham. I do want to backtrack on Sahith though. Are you baking in anything from his big win last night?
No, I don't think. I think they were the favorite. I know they came back a little bit, but
Were you there?
he said yeah, I was there. He had the early match, so he flew right back there. I guess he missed a day of practice, but it's what it is. He knows that golf course. He's been around. I could be wrong, but I did not see his caddy at TGL. Usually his caddy's at TGL. I didn't see him though. Do you know if he was there or no? He's a team manager. Okay, so maybe he was at Valspar yesterday, like getting a look. So I didn't see Carl last night at TGL, which he usually is there. So maybe he was grinding there at Innisbrook. So yeah, I do like Sahith.
All right. Yeah, we'll go to Wyndham Clark. I texted you about him earlier. I got a 66 to 1 with the top 6 each way. I just feel like he's so close to breaking through. Had a down year, had a down couple years, I guess, year and a half or so, but he's made all 6 cuts this year on the PGA Tour. Looking at his PGA Tour stats from this season, 9th in par 3 birdie or better. I talked about 5 par 3s on the course. Gonna have to score on them. It is what it is, especially if it's as easy to play as we're kind of thinking. Seeing him in the top 10 when it comes to birdies on par 3s is a good sign. Wyndham Clark's also in the top 40 in approach this season. I mean, his finishes aren't high, but like I said, he's consistently making cuts, getting his feet under him, and just, I don't know, solo fit the last time here in 2023. There's not a whole lot of value on this board, and Wyndham Clark is one of the first spots that I kind of saw value, I guess.
Yeah, I like Wyndham as well. Like I talked about the distance bias. We know he could bomb it out there. New caddy on the bag that could potentially bring some good vibes for Wyndham. I'm gonna go with Rasmus Højgaard here too. I like Rasmus, another guy who can launch it out there. The form is back-to-back missed cuts, but the distance, he just nukes it out there. But he gains in distance every single week, no matter what. The iron play has been solid. A tough putter at the Players, but these greens are far easier to putt than Sawgrass, in my opinion. They're maybe not easier. They're slower. That's for sure. They're much slower than they were at Sawgrass. So I like Rasmus to launch it out there, get a ton of looks, even with short clubs from the rough. You're going to be able to control it, and that's kind of his game. Hopefully, he doesn't make too many triples because he's due won a tournament, but he can overcome one triple. So Rasmus will be my guy around 60 to 1, something like that, 55 to 1. Rasmus.
Any guesses who my second guy in this range is?
I'm gonna guess.
You just talked about him.
We just talked about him?
Rasmus.
Oh, Rasmus. Oh, okay.
It was a trick question.
Yes, that was a trick question. Rasmus.
Also, I already bet him last night. You mentioned the back-to-back miscuts. Listen, guys, miscuts. He's still a super young golfer. I think a win is in his future. T9 at the Cognizant, over 5 strokes gained on approach. And then looking at his last 12 rounds, He was in the top 10 in the field in proximity from 200 plus, something I mentioned at the top of the show that I'm looking at. And then obviously hearing you talk about leaning into distance this week at Innisbrook. I feel pretty good about the first two guys that I have bet this week with Wyndham Clark, Rasmus Højgaard, two guys that we know can launch it out there.
Yeah, 100%. I think those are great looks. The only other guy I like before we get to triple digits is Patrick Rogers, and that's probably not for an outright selection, but it's a guy who's long off the tee. He hit it really well at Sawgrass Green, actually in all 4 categories. The approach play has been solid. He's gained on approach in 3 straight events, which is rare for Patrick Rogers. So I like that his game is kind of rounding into form, and he's just he's a veteran at this point. He might not be able to win, but he can definitely cash your DFS lineup, cash you a top 20. So Patrick Rogers will be my last guy before we get into the triple digits. Do you have anybody else before we get there?
I do have one more. Another guy who I probably would say is the best value when I first looked, at least. Pearson Coody at 66. I'm buying the dip. We are getting a great number off of 2 missed cuts. He lost a ton of strokes. He lost combined 11 strokes on and around the green last week at the Players. Gained slightly on approach. He was fine off the tee, but look at why are we ignoring what Pearson Coody did from January to February? He went T13, T18, T2, T10, T48, T16 before missing 2 straight cuts. Now we're getting a 66 to 1 on him, where this board does drop off a cliff. We're getting a high-end golfer at a very good number. His approach the last 2 weeks and his missed cuts were fine. If he just finds it on and around the greens, I think he'll be fine. He was gaining 2 or more strokes off the tee and on approach. He had a couple decent weeks with his putter. Not like he can't do it. I love Pearson Coody this week at 66 to 1, and that's another guy that I've already bet.
I absolutely love that as well. Pearson Coody, if I wasn't going to the top, Pearson Coody would be my guy. Maybe for the sakes of the show, I will tell you as my second guy in. But I got 2 guys in the triple digits for you. I'll start it off with Luke Clanton. Luke Clanton is an absolute special talent. He is a very good golfer. He's going to win on the PGA Tour. And with that being said, he has a caddy problem, like Ludwig. I saw this at the Cognizant Classic. I was like, I'm not sure if this guy knows what he's really talking about. And then I nosily asked another caddy, what's the deal with Luke Clanton? Like, how's his caddy? I know he's new. He's like about 24. And the caddy was like, to be honest, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. And it just like kind of like a shot in the heart to me for liking Luke Clanton, and also for like, I can help you, Luke. Like, I can help you, genuinely can help you. So there's so many guys that I feel like just caddies don't know what they're talking about, truthfully. And Luke Clanton, I believe, is one of them. So he needs to get it going. But triple digits, 150 to 1, I think he can at least make the cut, finish top 40. He's also going to be my top 40 one and done of the round. I guess that's a little bit of foreshadowing. But Luke Clanton, and then my final triple digit guys, Andrew Novak. The ball striking is kind of all over the place. The golf is all over the place, but we've seen him go to triple digits, bounce for a top 10. So that's kind of all I'm banking on. As a golf course, we kind of have to do everything well. And Andrew Novak is a guy who can do everything well when he's playing well. So Novak and Clanton are my triple digits guys.
I like that. I like both of them. And I like your insight on Luke Clanton as well. Obviously, everyone knows how highly we think of him. So one guy positional wise who I kind of like, I don't know if he's in triple digits. He's very close. Mac Meisner. I don't know why I'm not finding him, but I know he's right around triple digits either way. Another guy, back-to-back missed cuts. I guess it's kind of a trend this week. But Phoenix, I liked what I saw. Gained a ton with the putter, which isn't exactly what you want to do. But last 2 years here at the Valspar, he has really locked in with his irons. He finished T28 last year here, gained over 7.5 strokes on approach. The year prior, he was T26 and gained over 2 strokes on approach. So I like Mac Meisner. Mostly for when it comes to positionals. Another guy who I'm tempted by is Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, chasing a number. We've mentioned him plenty of times. I think one of our last shows in December, you kind of pushed Rasmus Niergaard Peterson as your favorite DP World Tour quote-unquote rookie, or whatever you want to call it. Hasn't really lived up to it, but at the same time, We know what he was able to do on the PGA Tour last year in a very, very small sample size, and obviously did plenty on the DP World Tour to get his full membership. So getting RNP at 100-1, I think, is a spot that we're going to want to take advantage and look at his placements as well.
Yeah, I love Rasmus. I think it's still early in the season. Like we haven't got the majors yet. He's got plenty of time to break through or have that high end finish. Definitely could be here. If he finds fairways, he can make it anywhere. So
Yeah.
let's bring it back around. Let's go 3 outrights, 2 positions, and then a top 40. Obviously, you guys know my top 40 already. I will start off the outright brigade with Xander Schauffele at 10-1. But with that being said, if you're going to go with Xander Schauffele, I suggest just one more guy. I would not necessarily go 3 selections, but for the sake of the show, I'm going to go with the favorite at Xander Schauffele. I like what I'm seeing with Xander. Genuinely, it's the not even just the ball striking; it's more the mannerisms, the how he looks out there. I've got real deep insights on what I've seen from Xander Schauffele over the last year and a half over on Twitter. So get to there. I can't give him out on here, but DM me if you want any of that information. But Xander Schauffele is my guy up at 10-1.
All right. I'm going to go back to back with my first 2 because they're both at 60. Talked about them earlier. 2 guys who can launch it off the tee, Rasmus Højgaard and Wyndham Clark. Like I said, you're getting both of them at 60. Wyndham hasn't missed a cut all year. Plays really well on the par 3s when it comes to Rasmus. T9 at the COG, back-to-back missed cuts, willing to overlook that. Really good on his approaches from 200 plus. So Rasmus Højgaard, Wyndham Clark are my first 2 in at 60-1.
All right, I will go with my final 2. First up, did not mention him, Ricky Castillo, 62-1, guy who played well here last year. We see guys winning in bunches a lot. He broke through at Puerto Rico. This is a golf course he played well here, like I just said, Florida guy. He showed to have some high-end ball striking, and I like him in tougher conditions. Is what we have here. So Ricky Castillo, and then finally it's going to be Andrew Novak. Andrew Novak at 130-1. I think he has. I don't know about his form, like I said, but I think he has real winning upside at like any number. So Andrew Novak and everything I said with Andrew Novak before holds true. And Ricky Castillo are my final outright selections of the week. Who is your final?
My final one is going to be Pearson Coody. Taking the value, like I said, this board isn't very attractive, so I'm going to take the dip on Pearson Coody, who came out hot and missed back-to-back cuts. So if he can figure it out with his short game, I think Pearson Coody's live here.
All right, I love it. All right, my positionals. I will start with a top 10 on Tony Finau. Tony Finau is triple digits. You can get him to finish inside the top 10 at 7-1 almost. I think that is an absolutely great number. He hasn't had a top 10 in a while, but we know he's good enough to top 10, and especially a field where it's weak up top. I mean, it's weak in the middle range. He knows he can compete with all these top players. Showed a little bit of form recently. He was in a featured group last week, so Tony should be confident. And then another top 10 on Ben Griffin plus 250. Ben Griffin kind of reeling in the wrong direction, but we know what his upside is. Won multiple times last year. Was it a flash in the pan? Maybe. We'll see, I guess. This is a great opportunity for him. And finally, my top 41 and done of the week is Luke Clanton, which I mentioned before. So that's Griffin, Finau, and Clanton as my 3 positionals. What do you got?
All right. I haven't had a deep top 40 in a while. This isn't my one and done because this guy would never get picked ever. But 2025 PGA Tour winner Joe Highsmith.
Joe Buckets.
Actually, well, he's not playing great, but he's making cuts. Made the last 4 cuts on the PGA Tour, dating back to Phoenix. He gained over 5 strokes on approach last week at the Players, was actually second in the field in overall proximity. So I'm going to go with Joe Highsmith, top 40 at plus 350. Making the cut at the Players and gaining that much on approach speaks enough for me to take a guy plus 350 for a top 40. When it comes to my one and done, I believe I was going to take Pearson Coody, but I have to make sure that he's even money because I thought when I looked last night he was, but things may have changed.
I don't think he is.
No.
Are
we doing just?
Yeah, he's not. Go
Oh.
someone around triple digits.
Let's go. Oh, I wasn't on. He's dead even money on some other ones, but not on the one that we use. So I'm going to go Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. I mentioned him as a guy who's triple digits. He's plus 118 on a top 40. Could probably find a better number depending on where you're looking. But like we already talked about him, it was great on the DP World Tour. Flashed quite a bit last year here on the PGA Tour. So Rasmus Niergaard Peterson is going to be my one and done top 40.
Love it. You are now up. No, we were tied 3-3. Paid you for Thigala last week. We've now went one. We went weeks 1 and 2 with hitting one.
Yep.
Then we took 3 and 4 and 5 with no hits. So and then it's been 4 straight weeks we've hit our picks. So if we keep that going, these are making money year long. So I love it. Rasmus and Luke Clanton are our picks for the top 41 and done, which is the most important game of the week. Those are the bets. That's the course. Thank you.